On the edge of real and cyberspace, there's one place you can go, and you found it. Welcome to Knightwise.com, where today we're going to review the OnePlus One. On the edge of real and cyberspace, there's one place you can go, and you found it. Welcome to Knightwise.com, the one and only podcast with hacks, tips, and tweaks for cross-platform geeks. Whether you're a Windows, Linux, Mac, iOS, Android, or Sun Solaris user, we have the stuff you need to tech into your way of life. My name's Knightwise, and today I'll be your host on our episode where we review the smartphone that everybody has been talking about lately. The one that everybody wanted to get but couldn't get because they didn't have an invite. Of course, you know which one we're talking about. We are talking about the OnePlus One, the 5.5-inch cyanogen mod running smartphone that has been the craze of the internet the last couple of months. And we have managed to get one. So we are going to take a look at the packaging, the hardware, and the software, and of course give you our 5 cents about what we think of the OnePlus One.
Never settle. That was the marketing slogan OnePlus went with when they launched the OnePlus One. And that they never settle is obvious from the moment the phone arrives at your doorstep. Where other phones of this price range come in simple cardboard packages, the OnePlus does it differently. A sleek, high-quality box lets you slide out the OnePlus One into your, by now, slightly shaking hands. Measured to the micrometer, the two-part box is a tight fit in such a way that it reminds us of the days when we unpacked our first iPods or iPhones. Where Apple upped the prices and downscaled on the unboxing experience, OnePlus has done the reverse. Their attention to detail gives new owners the idea they just bought something blingy at Tiffany's for the price of a Big Mac menu. In addition to the phone, the new customer also gets a classy charging cable, and OnePlus has even given the SIM removal tool its own little rubber casing.
When I unboxed the OnePlus One, I thought I'm going to get a little bit of a disappointment because I had just unboxed a €323 phone out of a box that looks like I just got a massive engagement ring from Tiffany's. I was afraid that it could only go downhill. Yes, this would be some kind of knockoff Chinese phone that would be flimsy to the touch and feel like something that wasn't quite up to speed. I was wrong. The OnePlus One feels very, very good to hold. I like the finish that they've given it, the little rough, gritty edge here at the bottom of the phone. It gives the phone a lot of grip. What I did manage to notice immediately was the fact that, oh my god, look at this, I actually have some hand to spare. The OnePlus One isn't as wide as most of the flagship phablets out there, but it is as high. So this is kind of more like a rectangular, longer phone than I was used to. The phone feels good to hold, it's well balanced, it sounds good, it works fine, and it looks like it's been finished with the detail of a high-end phone. I was very, very much impressed. It responded nicely, it sounded good, it was actually all I thought that a high-end phone was going to be, and something that I didn't expect from a €323 device. So let's see what is the magic here. What's under the hood?
The OnePlus One is a 5.5 Android smartphone with a slightly stranger form factor. Where in height, the One matches the size of today's phablet phones like the Huawei Ascend Mate 7 and the Galaxy Note 3, the width of the phone is closer to that of a more classic smartphone, like for example Samsung's Galaxy S5. The 64GB version has a matte grey finish on the back with a slightly rugged texture. Centered at the top, it boasts its 13-megapixel front camera with 2 flash LEDs. The back cover gives no direct access to the 3100 mAh non-replaceable battery. The slim contours of the One are delicately broken by the presence of a volume rocker and SIM card slots on the left side and power button on the right. Like its cousin, the Nexus 6, the One offers no room for an extra micro SD card slot to increase the storage capacity on the phone. The screen on the One is slightly raised above the silver bezel surrounding the screen and offers a bright, sharp interface to the phone without oversaturating the colors. In bright sunlight, the screen struggles a little bit. However, there is an onboard functionality in the CyanogenMod OS to compensate for this event. With its Snapdragon 801 processor and 3 GB of RAM, the One is on par with Samsung's Galaxy S5, offering more memory and a larger screen at a fraction of the price. Although the One supports all known networks from 2G to 4G, it has been known that your mileage on the latter may vary depending on your carrier. The One comes with built-in NFC, Bluetooth, ABGN Wi-Fi, and a GPS that uses both GPS and GLONASS satellites for better positioning.
The OnePlus One comes with a version of CyanogenMod, and it's even printed on the phone. Now, I used to know CyanogenMod. CyanogenMod was this shady, mega powerful mod of Android that you could flash on your phone. I heard a lot of geeks talk about their version of CyanogenMod and how they could make their device do all kinds of crazy things. But this was something for people who had the time to actually flash their phone and who had a wife who was forgiving enough to let it slide when they actually bricked their phone. So I thought, I'm never gonna touch CyanogenMod with a 10-foot pole because I am just a noob. Well, the OnePlus One brings CyanogenMod to the forefront. It brings it to the OnePlus One as an OEM OS. And I must say, we were impressed. It's fast, it's responsive, there are no lags, there are no hiccups. It really behaves very, very efficient and very, very slick on this phone. And CyanogenMod, what I thought was going to be very advanced and for the advanced Android geek only, but it's very accessible. You can easily set up your phone as you would set up any Android phone, but if you really want to go into detail, you can tweak the settings like you wouldn't believe. Privacy guards, special profiles depending on your location, having the screen, this is one functionality that I really like, having the screen be brighter when you go outside and when there's bright sunlight as opposed to inside, stuff like that. Small things that are really thought through, little functionalities that didn't make it into the big OEM Android distros, but that did get ported into CyanogenMod because the geeks loved it. This is a phone for an advanced Android geek. Or is it? We'll take a look at the software.
The adapted version of CyanogenMod shipped with the OnePlus is based on Android KitKat 4.4.2. Thanks to heavy support from the community, over-the-air updates are frequent, allowing the OnePlus owners to keep up to speed with the latest developments on the Android platform. However, instead of adding another layer of personalized sauce over the Android OS like Samsung or HTC, Cyanogen keeps its impact on the overall performance of the phone as light as possible. Although a great range of themes are available online, allowing the OnePlus owner to personalize his or her phone, the OS offers a far more granular control over the device and how its applications behave. With detailed profiles for performance and notification depending on your location, you can tweak your phone to adapt to all of your whereabouts. When connected to the office Wi-Fi, the phone can go on silent. When connected to Bluetooth in the car, the notification sounds can be automatically set to maximum. Together with a detailed privacy functionality offering granular control on what applications can access what forms of data, the Cyanogen OS on the OnePlus is truly one to satisfy the advanced Android user. Even though for this example we tweaked the look and feel of the OnePlus with a different launcher and different icons, we could find no hangs or hiccups when working with the phone. The OnePlus performs just the way it looks: sleek, stylish, and fast.
We've had the OnePlus One for about 3 days now, and I must say I am really, really pleased with this device. I've had a lot of phones, a lot of Android phones, and I was at the verge, at the very edge, at the very cuff of buying a Nexus 6 because I was a little bit fed up with the crapified phones that had their own version of an OS on top of Android. I was talking about the TouchWizzies and the other launchers that just brought a lot of crap to the Android OS in order to diversify it from the competition. The OnePlus One is a welcome relief to that. It is a slick phone, and it is a phone that behaves very, very well, has its own identity, but is still as tight and as slick and as lean and as mean as any pro Android user would like to have his phone be. Now, is it too good to be true? That's the question. I mean, at €323 for the 64GB version, I was puzzled at how do they do this. I mean, just take a look at the competition. The Galaxy S5 is about €700, and any geek who has ordered a Nexus 6 has also paid over €600. This thing is half the price. It should be half the quality, but it's not. It is actually just as good as some of the Android phones out there, and I dare say as some of the highest flagship phones from some other producers. And this thing is €323. It's packaged like something from Tiffany's, like a high-end iPhone 6. It performs like a high-end Galaxy S5, but it costs a fraction of the price. The question is OnePlus going to be able to keep this up? Are they going to be able to mass produce this phone? Because the magic, of course, and the hype, of course, is that you can't buy it in the store. You need to take part in their social media campaigns or get an invite from a friend like I did. Thank you, Door to Door Geek. So they are scarce. And the question is, would OnePlus be able to keep this price and quality if they would be mass producing these phones, or are they just releasing this phone at a loss? We don't know. What we do know is that we are going to try this phone for a couple of weeks and give you a second review when we get back, once we get really comfortable with it and find any quirks that we might find, or even find out that we might love it more. I like this phone. I've been a phablet user for a long time. I've had a Note 2, I've had a Note 3, I played with the Huawei Ascent Mate a couple of weeks ago. I played with the S4, the S5, and this is a phone that is slick, simple, and very advanced, and at a price point that there is just no competition for that price point. So we'll see what we think of the OnePlus One in a couple of weeks, but until then I can only say we really like it. Until next time, this was Nightwise for the Nightwise.com podcast reviewing the OnePlus One. See you guys.